As a filmmaker, what can we learn from the Jawan trailer? The film has been directed by Atlee and the cinematographer is Vishnu. First, observe these visuals carefully. In this frame we see a horse, a person walking in the background and a person's hand covered in blood who is badly injured. Let's see how cinematographer and director draws audience attention to those hands which are covered in blood. There are three things which make us focus on his hands. First, color palette, second, composition, and third, lighting. In this frame everything is desaturated and only one color which pops up is color red. Hands are well composed in the center. Highlight on his hand and shadow on the other side, it adds depth to this image. As we see SRK has hijacked a train, those lights in the background add another layer to this scene. It creates an environment which is tense, alarming, and dangerous. Highlighting objects. A small light tube is placed right behind the phone. The area around is dark. It creates a nice contrast and light coming from the window which is hitting the phone and creating shadow on the other side, which adds depth in this image. This image is well composed, keeping windows in frame justifies source of light. It adds depth in visual and creates more realistic image. Separating character from background. So we see a person walking towards the camera. It's dark. How will you show the character's physique? So by adding smoke behind character and by adding soft light from back to make smoke visible. The smoke creates a layer in the background which creates a silhouette image of the character which makes the character visible. So basically this character is searching for 6 girls. The director wants to highlight those 6 numbers. We see her writing it on board. There is no red color present in the background. There is only a red color marker, so our attention directly goes over there. Shallow focus which grabs our attention more on numbers. Once again the same method is used to highlight character. Notice how one particular color stands out in this frame. There is no red color present in the frame, except Deepika Padukone's costume color. In this scene we see SRK talking to a little girl. The mood of this scene is normal, happy, chill, and good. Look how fresh this frame looks. The contrast ratio is also well balanced. These background green color plants in the frame adds a visual value to this frame. For a moment consider there is no plant in the background, then how dull this frame would have looked. And by keeping the background white it freshens up the frame. We see a small girl looking towards SRK. Let's talk about the lighting aspect. Just by adding some light over here and shadow on the other side adds depth. The same goes over here as it was in the previous shot. But by placing the white side of her face in front of a dark background makes her face stand out. To freshen up the image you can see the same elements like plants in the background, but that light in the background. These elements are helpful to set the mood of the scene. In this frame you can see the same lighting in this shot. Shadow in background, bright face on one side and shadow on the other side of face. But one small thing is important. This particular edge light. It separates SRK from the background and adds shape to character. Same edge light in this frame too. These small elements are really important to shape your character in frame. We see SRK sitting and handling a gun. To make him stand out, the whole frame's color palette merges. And wearing a red jacket makes him stand out and our focus is directed on him. At this point we know SRK's character is in a negative shade. To convey it visually, look at this shadow area which adds a negative layer to character. In previous shots we talked about edge light which gives shape to the character. In this shot you can notice an edge on his face, hand, and on costume. We see a man who hangs himself. Mood of this shot is sad, painful. To convey it, the lighting is diffused, the weather is cloudy and the tree is dry. The color palette is desaturated, and the person is composed behind white background so we can see his physique. These all elements work beautifully to narrate the story. In this shot, the direction of light is directing us towards these two elements, phone and character, and light play between darkness and bright areas makes us focus on this third element. We see a person carrying a tool in his hand to kill his enemies. To highlight this tool, the sparkling in the background was important because it adds energy in the overall frame. In previous shots we talked about how light is used to shape characters. In this shot, just by adding light in the background over here and here, it adds depth in frame. If there was no light in the background then this shot would have looked flat. the way the trailer is edited. It shows us multiple wide shots. These wide shots show us the scale and canvas of this film. It's clear that Atlee and G.K. Vishnu have put a lot of thought into the visuals of the film. The trailer also hints at a complex and suspenseful story, with Shah Rukh Khan playing a character who is both heroic and ruthless. The trailer is full of stunning shots and action sequences that will keep audiences engaged. The use of slow motion and close-ups creates a sense of tension and excitement. The trailer introduces us to a number of characters, each with their own motivations and goals. Thanks for joining us on this cinematic journey. If you like this video, then please let us know by commenting down below. Give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Until next time, keep watching, keep learning, and keep creating.